Hello and welcome to this webinar for years 7, 8 and 9. We're focusing on participating in formal debates. We are looking at three key aspects: speaking for the proposition, speaking for the opposition, and the art of rebuttal. Now, debating is really important, but why is debating so good? Well, it benefits you for school, but they are crucial skills that you will use in your future life. Now, we know with the current political events that it's so important to be persuasive, to spark the emotional and the rational parts of our brain so that we're equipped to understand and sympathize with those whose free speech is we often disagree with. So if we can speak and debate and engage with people we disagree with, this is really important. And the art of debating involves confidence in public speaking, constructing logical arguments, hearing other people's arguments and responding to them accurately and appropriately. And as you debate, you will really develop highly refined communication skills. So debating is very good and very important. Now, how are debates organized? Well, debating is in a very particular order. The debate is chaired by a speaker who reads out the motion. So, for example, this house would allow mobile phones to be used in all classrooms. Then you have the first proposition speaker who presents the arguments for the motion, why mobile phones should be used. Then the first opposition speaker who presents arguments against the motion. Then you have the second proposition presenting further arguments in favour of the motion, and the second opposition presenting arguments against. And then finally, a proposer will sum up and an opposer will sum up the arguments, and then the speaker will reread the motion and the audience gets to vote for or against. Now, the proposition will speak for the motion. The proposition get to define the motion. That means they set out the case that they're going to argue. They outline the 2 or 3 points they're going to develop about why mobile phones should be used in each classroom. And also the second proposition speaker will identify the problem. What's the problem? Why should we be having mobile phones? The desirable result and how we can achieve this. And the summary proposition speaker would really think about pulling the proposition argument together, thinking about 3 key questions. Are there major arguments that are still to be made? Are there potential examples that we could use? Are there any crucial points that need deeper analysis? So proposition is really defining the motion and arguing for and pulling those ideas together. Opposition is explaining why they don't agree with the motion. They're explaining why the definition, the mobile phones, why every child in England or whichever, Scotland, Wales, wherever, why it's unreasonable. And they also rebut the first proposition speaker. And the second opposition speaker will develop these ideas and so they can really help to outline their case about why they disagree with the motion. And then finally, to summarize the debate, there should be no new arguments, really. They're just summarizing why they feel, the opposition feel, that they have won. Now, finally, we're going to talk about rebuttal. Now, in a debate, rebuttal is this part where you explain why the other side have flawed arguments, why they don't make sense. And this can also be called a counter argument. Now, rebuttal can attack assumptions. It can say, well, most people think this, but this isn't true. It can attack relevance. The speaker hasn't really proven this issue, or it can attack impact. In all honesty, this is less important than you think. Now, debating in a competitive sense is really important, and it relies on people having this pre-prepared speech. But also, as the debate moves on, the speakers will listen to the previous speaker and rebut what they've heard. So they can't just rely on their speech, they will rely on what they've heard to rebut what they've heard. So as the debate increases, the amount or proportion of their speech taken up by rebuttal will also increase. Now, the final point to make really is that rebuttal involves these complex arguments and examples. And whilst as a debater you want to speak quickly because so you sound intelligent, you also need to speak clearly so the adjudicator and other debaters know what you are saying. So I hope that's helped you to understand how a debate works, the opposition, the proposition, the rebuttal, and why debating is so important. Thank you for joining me, and goodbye.